Let's talk about rainbows. Rainbows are nature's prism, breaking the light rays into the color spectrum. Rainbows are also transparent since they are made up of water droplets that are refracting light back to our eye. This is a painting study by an artist who was trying to make a realistic rainbow in a realistic sky. We can see the colors that they used. And I would like to try and draw a realistic rainbow with you. It looks like we will be blending our colors together. Starting with some good heavy paper that you might have at home, I'm going to use watercolor crayons. You could also use watercolor pencils. This is a kind of material that you can draw with and then later add water so it will blend. I'll show you how I do this with this material, and then I will also show you how I do it with markers. I started with a gentle arc shape in red. That's the first color of the visible spectrum. I'm leaving a little bit of space and adding some orange. I will repeat this with my piece of yellow, leaving that space, and then green, then blue, and last is violet. Even though there's a lot more colors of light, our eyes can see these. Next, I will be using a small brush to blend between my colors. I'm just doing a gentle pull across the pigments that are on my paper, and I'm cleaning my brush in between. This gives a chance for each of the colors to blend in with one another. Water and watercolor paper are perfect for this. Things that are wet can blend together, while things that are dry will stay separate. I'm using my brush a little bit on my lower colors so that they can blend better, kind of moving the pigment around on the paper. And you always want to have a paper towel handy so that you can try and soak up any extra water that you don't want to be traveling around. And just enjoy the imperfections that happen with watercolor. There's always going to be some surprises and things you cannot control when you use this kind of material. That's what it's all about. It'll look artistic. So I'm using my paper towel and a little bit of extra water to fade my watercolor rainbow into a cloud. I decided it would be nice to use the same material to create an entire landscape below. I'm using the side of my watercolor crayon to add green, to make tiny tree shapes that are small in the background and larger in the foreground. Next comes a river that can snake back and forth until it gets closer and closer to us. I'm going to make some distant triangle mountains and add some really light strokes of color to add some blue into the sky. Notice I'm using dry watercolor crayon on dry paper, and then delicately adding water with a small brush. You can also use water-based marker to create a nice blended rainbow. Here I am using a strip of red. Then I will review my order again. Orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. Knowing this order will help you learn some really cool things in science class. With my wet brush again, I can blend the space between these colors, cleaning my brush in between. I'm extra careful around the yellow so that colors don't bleed fully into the yellow and we can still see it. Here I am using water down at the bottom to create that cool misty blend that rainbows can do right at their ends, so you don't really see where they end. So I have gotten a waterproof pen and I decided I'm going to add a cool fantasy detail here at the bottom of this rainbow. I'm making a curved line around the bottom, adding a lip. And as you can tell, I want to create a pot of gold at the bottom of this rainbow. I'm making a curved C and then a backward C with a circle inside. Those will be the handles to this pot. I can bring a line down to those handle shapes and then create a C on the bottom. In the top, I'm just making cloud-like curves to show my gold substance inside. I've decided to make my pot of gold into kind of a leprechaun. So I am adding eyes, a circle inside of a circle, with another little circle inside to be a shine in the eyes. A very cute mouth almost between those two eyes. Cloud shapes to create a leprechaun beard. And then I can add my color to create a leprechaun. Here I'm going to use some water to move my water-based marker around on the paper and do some blending. Do whatever skin color you like for your leprechaun, and then use that very thin point of your brush bristles to fill in any spaces you want to have color. Have a great time practicing your blending and making rainbows.